Here we go. Hi everyone, I'm Dani. Today I have come up with 3 DIY projects for my very own bedroom space, which was a DIY bed bench, 2 floating bedside tables, and I did a wisping accent wall. This was a awesome collab that I did with my friend Alexandra Gater, where she came in and did all of the decor pieces and provided amazing tips along with them. So head over to her channel to check out her video. I can't even believe where my room started. This is the bedroom. It's basic. It's a nice beige blah. We have a whole bunch of these holes. Let's look up here. Yep, there it is. Mr. Boob. No, it doesn't go. So let's do some upgrades because I need it. I'm gonna show you how to make these 3 DIYs, so let's get to it. To build your DIY floating bedside tables, we're gonna measure 36 inches from the top of your 48-inch board and mark a line across. All right, step 2, we're going to pre-drill. On that 36-inch mark, I'm then just placing a little bit of wood glue on the edge of my 11-inch piece and clamping it tight to my 48-inch board, giving it a nice tight feel. It's super tight. Where did their accent come from? So using a 7/64-inch drill bit, I'm creating 3 holes going through the back of my board straight into my 11-inch pieces. Now taking a 3/8-inch drill bit, I'm gonna create a small countersink hole. This is going to help hide my screws once I screw them into the back to make sure that the piece lies nice and flat. Then using 3-inch wood screws, I'm slowly going to secure the 2 boards together. Then you just want to repeat this for the second wall hanging. And like that's it, but we're not done. I sanded them both down using a 220 grit sandpaper and my orbital sander. And then using a cotton rag, I stained my side tables. Having a nice dark brown was gonna make it feel really cozy in this space. And I love me some cozy. As a last step, you do want to add a finish to your side tables because you're going to be using it every day. You're going to be putting your phone and drinks. You want to make sure that your piece is well protected. Then to hang up my floating side tables, you can simply go out to your local hardware store and buy like 2 keyhole rings. But of course, in my own DIY fashion, I created my own. Then, of course, to make my 2 floating side tables totally functional, Alexandra sourced me 2 plug-in wall sconces to hang at the top to really bring a finished look to these tables. How cool do they look? All right, so let's talk about this DIY wisping accent wall. So essentially I started off by painting my entire room white. It was this horrible, ugly beige before that it made me feel really sad. So this took about a day, and I think I did about 3 to 4 coats. So to paint my access wall, what am I accessing with this? Calming nature? I worked from the bottom upward and I painted about 2/3 of the wall. Then what I did was I took a 4-inch size paintbrush. Using the narrow side of the brush, I simply just whisked it up. Try starting the strokes larger, working into a smaller stroke at the end to give it a mountain-like shape. Continue this process across the wall, playing with the varying heights along the way. Now simply let that dry. The color that I went with was a deep forest pine interior paint. If you're interested in using the same color, I have linked it down below so that you can find it as well. To build a DIY bed bench, step 1, let's build our side frames. I'm creating the entire bench frame using the kreg jig and 2-inch pocket hole screws. If you want the full step-by-step breakdown, you can find the written steps on thecoralchannel.com. Congrats! Now you have a frame to your bench. So let's build our bench top. So what I'm doing is taking 2 of the 53 1x2s and I'm gonna drill 2 pocket holes. And then you just wanna do this for the remaining 6 pieces, working with 2 pieces at a time. Just saving time, because we ain't got any. I'm taking 1 1x2 and I'm measuring and marking the middle point every 3 inches down the board. 16 marks in total. Then I'm using my kreg jig drill bit and I'm drilling a hole through all 3 pieces at your 3-inch marked spot. Big note, you definitely want to put a scrap piece of wood underneath because it will go through the table. I'm pretty sure I actually did drill the table, even with the scrap wood. And I'm taking every other 1x2 piece and I'm flipping it. This is going to give that herringbone pattern with your rope later. I'm going to sand each 1x2 piece using a orbital sander and a 220 grit sandpaper until they're all smooth. Using my 21 1-inch 1x2 pieces, I'm using them to create equal spacing at both ends and the middle of my boards. Now, simply using some 2-inch pocket hole screws, I'm securing all my 1x2s to my bench frame. I'm actually going to be taking 7 of those 1-inch spacers and I'm placing it in the middle of my bench. This is just going to add a little bit of extra integrity inside the bench, but it also looks really nice. Let's get staining. I'm simply staining my bench a nice warm brown chestnut color. This is the same color that I'm staining my side tables, so they kind of feel in unison with each other. So you have a bench. Amazing! For the rest of the project, I actually was at my mother's place while I was doing this, so I'm utilizing her studio and she was able to help me out, which is like, yes. So to start the weave bottom, I was able to source a beautiful piece of canvas material and I simply cut all these strips using fabric scissors. I started with my 6 63-inch pieces. What I did was I folded a small lip inward on each side of the strip. I secured it to the inside of the bench, stapling it, and then I went under and then over top to the other side of the bench. And then you just want to continue this step for all 6 strips until the length of your bench is completely covered. So I'm taking my 29 22-inch strips and I'm repeating these steps. It's a lot easier to just work your way across one side and then go to the other side, pull it tight, and then secure it with a staple gun. Weaving the fabric is going to create a fun checkerboard pattern once you're finished. So now I want to create that herringbone rope pattern. This was something that was really unique and kind of made the bench my own. First of all, I'm taking my 8mm rope and I'm cutting 15 pieces at 28 inches. I'm creating a half hitch knot at one end of all 15 pieces. I pull the rope through the first hole inside the frame and I work across the bench. Once you've reached the last hole, carefully tie another half hitch knot. Then you just want to repeat this for the remaining 14 pieces of rope and then voila! How amazing does this bedroom look? It's just like Pinterest exploded and I get to live in it. If you want to see how this entire room came together with all the little decor elements, head over to Alexandra's video. Season 2 of Buy Your DIY is coming out soon, guys, so make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, hit the bell notification so you always know when we launch a video, and I will see you soon.